Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Jason, aka Gator Wrestler 303. For some reason, when I work with alligators, not a single person calls me Gator Wrestler or Gator. But when I'm not working with alligators, everybody calls me Gator. So you can call me either one. I answer to either. So if you don't know, we have a Reddit for the BKFC. My buddy Dak and I have been running the Reddit for several years. It's getting to be pretty large. We're approaching 5,000 members, which is cool. And we have quite a few fighters and staff of BKFC that stops in. Anyway, so a company approached us about doing a podcast, which would have been really cool. Sadly, Dak has a job in the... I don't know. I'm just going to say this. I don't want to give away too much for it. But anyway, Dak has a job where he cannot do it. So he said he's not interested. I said I was. So this company, we were working on it, and something came up, and they told me to be patient, and I'm all for being patient, but I decided why we're being patient, we might as well do a BKFC Reddit podcast. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about some of the stuff going on in BKFC. I figure it's going to be kind of slow for the next couple weeks because there's not another BKFC for almost a month. So, I don't know about you guys, but I watch the Bare Knuckle Show every week, or I try to. I do work a lot during the day, so sometimes I miss it. But anyway, so I'm just going to do like kind of brief recaps. I took a whole bunch of notes today, so we're just going to rewatch some of the BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Show with Brian. If you guys don't know, I was not a fan of Brian when I first started watching it. But he absolutely grew on me. If you meet him in person, like you see him online and he's over the top. I mean, you can even tell during like some of these clips, he's over the top. And I was like, this dude's pretty obnoxious. But then when I went to the BKFC in Denver for the pay-per-view, I met him. And dude, when he's not got a camera on him, crazy nice, super nice to my kid, my wife, and I held the alligator with us. Took all sorts of photos with my son, gave my son some goodies from the merch thing. So, I mean, like I said, super nice guy. And he'll even tell you, hey, I get paid to be an annoying prick. And he does a good job of it. So anyway, so I support him and I watch the BKFC Bare Knuckle Show every week if I can. And I catch it later if I can't. Anyway, so Dave and Brian right here, they've been talking about a bunch of stuff, but I'm just going to kind of go over some of the highlights. So here we're going to put it, they're going to be talking about the BKFC Christmas show coming up, and Dave's going to tell you guys about the special little helper he's got. So here you go.
Christmas show again?
Yes, I guess so.
So you don't remember?
I don't think it was me, yeah.
Okay.
Are we doing it again?
We're going to do the Christmas show, and the Christmas show is, this year we're going to give away over $25,000 in cash and gifts to people that have been, that really need it, that have been around for a long time, and that need our help, that have been supportive to us. It's just something that we really want to do, and as we're growing, we want to give back even more. But the special announcement that I have about this is, and I don't want to take away from the goodness that we're doing, but Travis Thompson is going to be my official elf.
Is he going to be?
So it is kind of cool. Every year they do this BKFC Christmas. They give away money to people who are in need. They give away, if someone's like, hey, I'd love to give my kids something nice. I need some extra money. They give away Xboxes and PlayStations and all sorts of gifts, some merch, T-shirts, and all sorts of cool stuff. So anyway, if you guys don't know, Travis Thompson is a lunatic. And he co-hosted the show with Brian a couple weeks ago. It was actually really funny. He's very knowledgeable about BKFC stuff, and he's funny. So anyway, we're gonna let this play for another second, and then I will show you how I picture this going out.
Travis wants to get back on the show.
Travis is going to be the elf.
I would love him to come and dress.
So you
got
a Jewish Santa Claus and a fighting elf.
Okay, so this is how I picture. This is, if you guys, I love Elf the movie, and this is how I picture.
Feeling strong, my friend. Call me elf one more time.
This is Brian Sosha and Travis Thompson.
He's an angry elf.
And here comes Travis.
Look at you. Ow.
Anyway, that's how I picture that whole thing going down. I don't know. It's going to be funny. I think it's going to be humorous. I hope he does actually show up and dress up. I think that'll be great. So then the next clip that I'm going to play for you guys starts about the 34-minute mark. Dave actually, like, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole podcast. Dave actually, like, showed, like, a different side of him that I had never seen before. He talks about his mom, and it's really cool to hear this story. So check this out. Give a listen to this. And here we go.
And fight. And that's what he kind of said to me. And James, you're right, he's a wonderful guy.
They're talking
He
about
actually has a
James
book
Lilly.
coming out where he's going to be published in, and we've read some of his poems on the show. I mean, I don't know if you're a poetry guy. You're probably not, right? You're not, are you?
Do you know my mom actually had some poems published in it?
Okay, just quickly, James Lilly, super nice guy. He's been in the Reddit several times. He does. He did an AMA, crazy nice guy, and he's super creative. And they're talking about his poetry, but here's the part that I really liked.
In a book as well.
Really?
When she was paralyzed, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now, was your mom paralyzed? Was it the entire body, or was it just the waist down?
From the neck down.
So she was able to still, like, I mean, do the poems and all like that. And she did art too, didn't she? Actually paint or something? Was that your mom?
Yeah, man. Yeah, she painted with a toothbrush in her mouth, and she had a pencil in her mouth, and she would type. So it was pretty cool.
Really?
It was remarkable. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So that's where you get your can't stop you attitude from, probably.
Absolutely, man. So it's
If you guys are watching this, like, I hope you're watching. I love the fact that he keeps smiling talking about his mom, and that's a cool story. Like, your mom's paralyzed from the neck down, and she paints and writes stories and stuff, or poems. Like, friggin' brilliant. All right, so let's play a little more.
everything I do is a testament to my mom. My mom was just one of the strongest people I've ever seen in life, really. And
Do you still have any of her paintings?
yeah, it's
Good.
in my office.
Oh, that's from her.
Yeah.
Which one?
There's two different flower sets that she painted with her mouth.
Wow.
Really awesome.
That's incredible. But
Yep.
so now you know a little more.
So I think it'd be cool if Dave, when I've never seen these photos before or paintings before, but I would love if Dave would go ahead and show them. I think that'd be pretty cool. So anyway, I think that's pretty neat. And we're just going to go ahead and keep playing it because next they're going to be talking about the Prospect series.
More about Dave too. I think the art was absolutely amazing that you could do that. But the other thing I want to talk about, other than checking out that documentary on YouTube, I'll post a link on my Twitter and stuff. It's really good. It's well done. The other thing I want to talk about, getting off the documentary, congratulations to you guys on that, is Prospects 1. And Evan, you can kind of weigh in on this a little bit. We talked before the show. The first Prospects that we did, it's shot. It's going to be ready fairly soon. Do we have some kind of release date you're thinking on that?
Okay, so quickly, we actually were talking about this on the BKFC Reddit. So we were saying, there's a month where there's going to be no fights, basically. So Evan, who's here in the background, he said, I've got 2 shows that will be premiering this month, each 24 minutes long. A beefed up version of Tryouts with Chris Lytle we shot down in Virginia, plus episode 1 of Prospect series shows, sort of mini documentary of each Prospect event, which is cool. So they're going to go ahead and talk about that. The cool thing about Chris Lytle, I don't know if you guys know, I think you should know. Anyway, Chris Lytle just signed a contract, and he is now a full-time BKFC employee. And he's going to be doing like the talent search, the tryouts. So that's pretty cool. So there should be a ton of footage coming in from that now. But here we go. They're going to talk a little bit more. Evan's gonna go ahead and release the details about the new show coming up.
So it's not really Prospects, though. I mean, it goes into Prospects, but it's the Tryouts, Prospects, it's the whole entire package.
Oh, you're putting it
of
all
the
together.
event.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
That's news to me.
It's another week late. It's going to be another week from what we were going to say.
No, we just were like behind the scenes with cameras all week and kind of shot it from a different angle. So we got backstories on the people and
It's awesome.
shit like that.
And the Tryouts.
Now, Dave, did you already go on?
Tryouts is a different piece.
And the Tryouts.
It's-
So Dave wants it all as one.
Confusing Evan now. Now we're gonna have a weird piece.
No.
Let's unpack.
I must have missed
this.
that on our Monday call.
Yeah, right. So the tryouts will be one piece that features Chris Lytle and everybody like that that's traveling around the country trying to find the next fighters, which is going to bleed. It sounds like to me into the Prospect series, and then with the Prospect series, when we have that ready to release, did you already get seniors' comments? Did you guys already film that? Who you were going to pick and stuff? Is that hasn't been released? That's all going to be part of the show, right?
We announced some of the guys that received contracts from the Prospect show.
So just touching on this, like if you watch a Prospect show, my biggest complaint about it was I didn't know who got it. There was a couple decent fights. There was a couple kind of snoozer fights. I just, what I'm hoping from this Prospect series is if you win, you don't get guaranteed a contract. If I feel like if you make a spectacular win, and I'm completely fine if it's an all-out war like the very first fight was for the Prospects, I'm completely fine if both guys get a contract. But also, like if there was a fighter on the prospects that was pretty favored to win, and they didn't win. They won, but they weren't like phenomenal. Like I was told they were going to absolutely make a statement, and it was not a great show. Or a show on their part. So, they won, but it wasn't spectacular or anything. So I would love to see them have to fight in the prospect again. Like, I feel like you should have to prove your merit to get in. So hopefully they're going to talk about that. So anyway, this is actually why we didn't hear about it, because Dave is part of the new show coming out. He's going to, I guess they recorded it for that. So that's why we didn't find out about it.
We didn't announce it. We did the filming there, and it's going to debut. When is it?
He doesn't know. He threw a monkey
Probably
wrench
by
in.
the end of the week.
This week?
Yeah.
So I can let everybody know this Friday.
Yeah, I'd say that's doable. Yeah.
Here's the thing about
Okay, so anyways, coming Friday, so that's pretty cool. That's some big news right there. So next we're going to get to right about the 40-minute mark, and Dave's got some big...
podcast the other day. That would be a great fight. Thoughts on that?
It is.
Okay, so Bryce Henry called out James Lilly. James Lilly said that he wants to go to 145. But anyway, Bryce Henry was on Fuse UK. They're a fellow podcast person. Anyway, and Bryce Henry and James Lilly are actually friends. So I'm kind of surprised to hear that Bryce Henry called out James Lilly, especially because Bryce Henry said he wanted to fight Luis Palomino. But Bryce Henry called out James Lilly. I hope I was saying the right names. I see the names at the bottom. Anyway, Bryce called out James. Although the last time I talked to James said he was going to be going to 145. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense for him to stay at 155. He said he told me that he planned on going to 145 because he felt like he could get back in the title contention faster by going down to 145 than he could have by waiting for 155. So here they're going to talk about it.
It is a great fight, but like I said, James Lilly wants to drop to 145.
He did say that.
And Bryce Henry is
phenomenal.
He's tearing it up, dude.
About
He's gonna be
145,
special.
James Lilly. That's
Yeah, it's gonna be a little.
James Lilly, Kai Stewart. Imagine that fight.
We'll see. There's a lot of good fights you can do with this.
Kai Stewart has a tough fight coming up.
Okay, so here's one thing that I don't understand. Like I've heard for the last couple weeks, oh, Kai's got a big fight. I don't know why they haven't released who Kai is fighting. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things, like, I would hope that they would. Now, I will say that there's a couple big cards back east. And so maybe they're going to be doing something on the back there on the east, because I don't know when they're going to be going back to Montana. I do know there's a Nebraska card coming up, I believe in November, but I don't know when the next Montana card is. That said, I would love to see some of these guys who are like big names fight outside of their home cities. And so they're talking about, I don't know, who do you guys think? I think Kai, I would love to see Kai versus Dat. I think that'd be a phenomenal. Dat's the only guy that beat Johnny Bedford. And, I feel like Dat is just that good of a fighter. But I mean, Kai really proved something the other day. So here we'll listen for another minute, and then we're gonna look at something else.
I can imagine.
Or even James Lilly, Howard Davis.
There's a
lot of great.
I kind of wish right now that there wasn't even a 145 champ, because I would love to put together an 8-man tournament for the 145.
I don't know how you'd find the 8. They'd be hard.
Okay, so Brian's saying he doesn't know how you find the 8. So let's take a look. So here we got Kai Stewart, and we got Louis Lopez as the number 1 ranked fighter. We got Howard Davis as number 2, Brandon Allen. Then we have James Brown, who had a phenomenal win over Alvarado, which is great. And then we have Rusty Crowder. And if you look at Rusty Crowder, I don't understand why he's 5th. He fought over a year ago. So I don't understand how he's 5th. I mean, he does have a win over Louis, but he has a loss to Howard. So again, I'm not sure how he's 5th. But then when you look at, Dave said he would love to do an 8-man tournament. If you look at some of the people in that division, or who could make it, you've got Brian Duran. Dude is a lunatic. I don't know if he could get down to 45, but also they have him listed down here in featherweight, so I'm not 100%. So you got Duran, you got Lilly. So there's, if you got these top 4 guys in him, that's 5, and then Lilly, potentially Duran. Apparently they have Sarah Click in the featherweight, so she's, she weighs, I think she's 145 or so. Anyway, you got Click. Anyway, so you have Jimmy Rivera, who Howard Davis. I feel like Jimmy Rivera would be a better person to have there. Let's look at Jimmy. Let's check out Jimmy real quick. Let's see, Jimmy Rivera. He's got a draw and then he's got a win. You know what I mean? And it was his win was a good win. And he draw against Howard Davis. There's no shame in that. So to me, he deserves to be fifth more. Let's see. Here's my dark horse, and I'm curious to see. This is another person that I can't wait to see. Tommy Stridham. Anyway, he's 2-0. I don't know. This guy is just a cool dude. Dude from South Africa. He's a farmer. Like, the couple times that I've talked to him, he sends me messages while he's driving around in his tractor. So, I don't know. He's a dark horse. Like, I would love to see him fight. I thought we were going to see him against the Thuggy Bear. I thought we were going to see him against Thuggy Bear in New Mexico, but they ended up doing a different fight instead. But so he's somebody. You got Dat in there. So Keith Richardson. I don't know if Keith Richardson would like to go up to 145, but could you imagine an 8-man tournament with Keith Richardson, Louis Kai, Brandon Allen, Howard Davis, James Brown? Like I said, he put on a clinic against Alvarado. So I don't know. There's some. It sounds phenomenal. I don't know. Like, I love the idea of the 8-man, but also. So like I said, I don't know who the hell Kai Stewart's gonna fight, and they haven't like, we'll click on him, and I don't think, no, it doesn't say anybody that he's gonna fight. So they haven't announced it yet, but they know that they have it. So it's one of those things, like, that's one of those parts where I wish they would just say, like, hey, Kai's fighting this guy. All right, so next we are going to go to like the 46-minute part, and they're going to talk about their new signings. So we will, let's see, 45. Okay, here we go.
You just take it on screen.
So yeah, do it on screen. We have to look at me. Alan Stevenson is a multi-fight deal.
Okay, so Alan Stevenson. So I looked up Alan Stevenson on Tapology, and I don't know how like current this stuff is. Let's see, Alan Stevenson, 7-6. His last MMA fight was last month, so, or just a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. He's got a Doug Coltrane, right? That's that dude is in BKFC, right? Yeah. So he's in BKFC. So and he's got a win over him. So, and a first round win. So that's pretty cool. But that's also several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So I don't know, 7-6. So there's Alan Stevenson's. Let's see.
I'm trying to. Can we adjust the camera? Yeah, this has been a chaotic show today. We didn't know this was going to happen. We're like, whoa! All right, run through them. Oh, you're going to hold it up the whole time? There's a lot of them. All right, let's look at these now. You got.
Okay, Brandon Rogers. And Brandon Rogers has already got a fight. Nate Shook posted. I don't know who he's fighting yet, but Brandon Rogers. So we got Brandon Rogers here, 3-3. His last MMA fight that they have posted was from 2020, so I don't know what he's been doing. So I don't know, maybe it's so hard to tell. And like, I feel bad like looking these up, but this is all I could find on the guy. So Brandon Rogers, 3-3. So one of the new signings.
Got Brandon Rogers signed to a multi-fight deal. Brandon, congratulations. Chris
Hamlet. So here we go. Christopher Hamlet. He is 5-6. Let's go ahead and look. Brandon Webb. So yeah, he was fighting in May. I'm not looking too. He's got a loss to Brian Maxwell, but that was back in 2014. But Brian Maxwell's in BKFC. So anyway, so 5-6, another guy added to the BKFC roster.
Hamlet, I think I'm saying that right. Shakespeare fan, I guess. Multi-fight deal.
Dallas Manspiel. All right, here we go. 1-3. His last win was in June. I don't know. And there's definitely more to BKFC. If you look at Lorenzo Hunt, he didn't have a very good record either. And then he took off in BKFC, but I don't know, a dude with a 1-3 record, new signee.
Dallas Manspiel.
Manspiel.
Multi-fight deal. Here's the thing. James
James Rumley. So here we go. James the Hurricane Rumley. His 2017. Oh, look, James Brown. He's got a win over James Brown. Submission choke. You know, the number 4 ranked guy. So 6'2" and 145 pounds. It's just crazy. Anyway, so he's got a win over James Brown, but last fight, 2017. So I'm not sure what he's been doing. You know, maybe it's like I said, it's so difficult. I have no idea. Maybe he's been boxing. Maybe he's been doing other stuff. But interesting to see him.
Rumley. I honestly don't know if I'm mispronouncing any of these names, and I feel bad, but I don't get to see them till now, and they're all so new. Hopefully we can come up with spotlights and bios for each one of these people, because I'd love to know more about them.
And that's something I agree too. Like, especially like the Bulgarian, the stuff coming up, like in Thailand, like all these fighters, I wish they would put together just like a little clip. And again, it's like, I wish, I want that, I want this. And I know it all takes time and money, but I would love if every time they signed one of these guys, do like a little highlight reel or just, you know, give us something for these guys. So Brian is absolutely right in that.
We can inform you, but these are great signings. I know they wouldn't be signed if Nate didn't believe in. Look at this guy, Joe Ray. Now, I'm not 100%. Joe Ray, Joe Ruthless. I don't know. Like, I couldn't. There's no picture for him. I saw that that Joe Ray sure looks like a heavyweight. This guy's a heavyweight, but everything's from 2013. So I mean, to me, that looks like him. I mean, looks like he's got the chest, but Joseph Ray. I don't know when that was, though. So, anyway, I think that's him, 3-2. But, I mean, that was ages ago. So, I mean, that was 10 years ago. So, I'm not sure. Ray been signed. Joe Ray ain't messing around. Joe Ray, he's got to be a heavyweight, huh? Look at Joe. A lot of man. Evan likes
lot
that.
of man.
All right, what else do we have?
Okay, guys, Kane Tomlinson signed to a long-term multi-fight deal. Well, I say long-term, I just says multi-fight deal. So here we go. So here's Kane's BKFC record, 0-4. They have 2 of his losses. I mean, Brad Kelly's a good fighter. Ryan Jones. What's Ryan Jones's record? 2-2. So, I don't know. It's one of those, like, I mean, he could be on the undercard. He could be, like, the first card, you know, the first fight. He puts on a good showing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be terrible on the guy. His pro MMA record's 1-2. It's got he lost to Noah Cutter. He lost to Kendrick Harris. And Total Line. So I mean long term, I don't know. He seems like a nice enough guy on the Facebook, but I don't know. That's kind of a head scratcher for a multi-fight deal. But here we go. Here's more.
Oh, here we go. All right. Kane Tomlinson, he's going to be fighting coming up in Salem, Virginia for us. Kane, he's been around for a while. I'm glad we signed him to a multi-fight deal. Congratulations, Kane. And let's see.
Micah Lale, I think. I don't know. 0-2. But this was 2012, so I mean that's forever ago. So I have no idea what this dude's been doing. I don't, like I said, it's one of those things I don't know. I wish when they sign these guys, like he was saying, I wish they would do like a little write up, like, hey, Micah Lale, and then what he's been doing. Like, has he been boxing? Has he been doing something else? I don't know, but who knows? He looks like he put on some weight compared to that photo. So.
Oh man, okay, this guy. Wow, he's a big dude. I don't know what weight class.
Yeah, he looks
multi-fight
jacked.
Deal. Another great multi-fight deal. Look at that. And then the women.
Michaela Thompson. So she goes by Makilla. Makilla is her nickname. So she's 1-0, and that's his amateur. Yeah, amateur MMA record. So I don't know. This is 2015. So I don't know. Like I literally typed in these people's names, and the first stuff that popped up was this. So if they've been doing boxing or something else, I don't know entirely. But I don't know. That's what the information that I found for her. So here we go.
Women, Hookloom Phonics. The worst thing for me to do is have to sound names. No, I want to take a look at Michaela. No, go back.
Okay, so then this Ryan Diaz, I couldn't find anything on him, so I don't know. He's one of those guys. I looked all over for him, couldn't find anything. So I'm not entirely sure what what his record is or anything like that. So I don't want this to be super long forever. So we are going to go ahead and go to the 4851. So here we go for this. Okay, so then the upcoming shows. So I guess we'll look at this real quick. So, and this is again where I feel like BKFC didn't do Brian any favors, and by not leaking some of this stuff. So, of course, you got Chris Camozzi versus Lorenzo Hunt. I mean, it's going to be a huge fight. 2-0 versus 10-1. Josh Copeland versus Aurelius. I don't know. I mean, Copeland. Big Ben said Copeland, if it wasn't for Big Ben, that he thinks Copeland would be the champion. Edwards versus Mano. Both guys coming off a win. When did Mano last fight? He fought in New Orleans in 2023. Okay, so not too long ago. And Edwards had an all-out brawl against Jay Jackson. That was a good fight. I honestly didn't know Marcus prior to that fight, and I thought Jay Jackson's a good fighter, so I was kind of expecting. This is a head-scratcher to me because this Hudson guy, I can't find anything on. Like, I mean, he's a Colorado guy. He's a local guy, Brett Hudson, but there was very little on him, so I don't know if he's making his debut against Angel Corps. And I was actually told Angel Corps was fighting two different people prior to this, and I was told from Angel Corps that he had a different fight. But I don't know. Like, I almost feel bad for that dude because, I mean, he's 2-0-1, and he had that draw. But I don't know. Like, that's a bad fight, I feel like. Vandermeer versus Weinmiller. If you guys remember Weinmiller from the last Colorado card, holy shit, he had a quick knockout. What was it, like 6 seconds? I mean, it was fast. Vandermeer, he's coming off a win over Zeb Vincent, who was fighting on the undercard, but that was over a year ago. So then we got Yates. Yates is a buddy of mine, so excited to see him. I think he had like a sub 30-second knockout in that last card, not the pay-per-view card, but Nolan McLaughlin in October. So almost a year. I know that they were talking about putting him on, but Yates did a boxing reality show, so he didn't fight in the last Colorado card. And then you got Christian Torres, who's coming off a devastating loss to Brandon Gertz. Holy crap, Brandon Gertz just threw a beat down. You got Strode. I mean, it's a battle of two guys with a lot of tattoos. Like that's a major tattoo there. 1-0 over Tyler Randall. Fighting last was over a year ago. So the other thing, guys, I heard that Gertz was supposed to fight Brito, and I think that's going to be right here, this featured. They haven't announced it yet, but I think they're going to be sliding in about right here. It'll be Brandon Gertz versus Elvin Brito, because Camozzi and Hunt, Camozzi trains with Gertz, and Hunt trains with Brito, and they were both talking about doing a teammate versus teammate fight. Here, Trujillo versus Carey. We got a battle against two shadow guys. This fight here, Courtney Cameron versus Franco. Courtney is a beast, friend of mine, super nice chick. She's part of the Reddit community, talks to everybody, super friendly. I felt bad for her last fight. She had 3 different opponents in the course of a week. Her original opponent had to have an appendectomy, and then they were just kind of scrambling, and her last opponent got there she didn't have time to prepare. So it was just kind of you didn't have a game plan. She's fighting a chick who's an MMA girl, so we'll see how that goes. Strafford versus Moda. Now, I remember him against Sawyer DP. I thought he would actually beat DP, and DP just did pretty good against him. So, and then Statlander versus Vincent. So there we go. So there's Colorado. So then I guess let's see. So then after that's Hart versus Shaw. So let's check out that real quick. Sorry guys if this is taking a minute, but let's see. That's Salem, right? Yeah, so we got Hart versus Shaw. Now Dave was talking about how Hart was supposed to have another opponent, but she was injured. I think they're talking about the fight doctor, Sarah Schell. She had to have nose surgery. and she was supposed to be out a year. The other day she posted that she's all healthy and ready to go. So I don't know. I mean, like Shah, like who knows? Let's see how this goes. This fight here is going to be awesome. Peg versus Elmore. Who did Peg lose to? I thought he was 3-0. Jake Young. Okay. For some reason, I thought he was 3-0. Versus Elmore. Elmore's always game. That'll be cool. Grasu versus Lacaze. I mean, Blake's a giant, so we'll see how this one goes. Caruso versus Williams, an 0-3 guy. Definitely a prelim fight. And then Tomlinson versus Fields. An 0-4 versus an 0-1. Who did Fields lose to? Click. Lloyd Mix in Montana. So over 2 years ago. So it's been a minute for that. Okay, so now we're getting into, let's see, here we go. Prospects, South Carolina. Okay, guys, and you'll see right now there's nothing for South Carolina. But if you go to Tony Loco Soto, he says, I hear the OG Bobby ODB says he wants to dance. We'll see if we're up to the challenge. Fight is guaranteed fireworks. Now, I don't know that it's going to be in South Carolina, but I heard it was going to be South Carolina. So you got Tony Loco Soto versus ODB. ODB coming off a loss to James Lilly, but like he's always in every fight. It was a doctor stoppage. It wasn't like he got knocked out against Tony Soto, who's climbing up the charts. We will see. Like it depends. If Tony hasn't improved his if Tony has not improved his stamina, he's going to be in for a long night. So let's see. Then what do we got? Okay, the big one, South Carolina, and I don't know. Again, like it's not here, and they didn't let Brian announce it for South Carolina. But breaking news. So I, the other day, was on, look at that, Gator Wrestler, 4 days ago. So I was on the BKFC website, and this fight was listed. Barnett Jr. versus Richardson, which was phenomenal. So I went ahead and posted it on Facebook. Or not Facebook, I posted it on Instagram. So then 3 days, so a day after I posted, Richardson, Rockstar MMA, he went ahead and posted it. Let's go South Carolina. So happening in South Carolina. So I would assume it's a bantamweight championship bout. So, I mean, I assume it's going to be the main event, but I'm not 100%. So I will say that I kind of thought that Reggie was going to fight Ryan Reber. And if you see, shit got him before I did see at the top. So I kind of thought, like, Reggie and Ryan are kind of talking to each other on Instagram. So I thought that, but Richardson's just been so dominant. So it's hard to, like, I would have been happy seeing either one. It kind of sucks for Ryan. He's kind of like built himself up, and everybody they put in front. The Travis Thompson fight is awesome. So you got Richardson's girlfriend Taylor Starling. Okay, so that's a big one. And then here's some more breaking news. So I don't know if you guys saw, but remember Alan Belcher got stripped. And we thought he's going to be coming back to BKFC, but it says, big announcement coming. I'm working on an MMA deal. Thanks for following. I'm trying to love this life fully, and purpose is to inspire everyone else to follow their path. I can't wait to fight with knees and elbows again. I've learned and grown immensely. So I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I don't see him going back to UFC or anything, especially at like the heavyweight. I see him going to Gamebred. Like there's Bellator's kind of up in the mix, and PFL is looking at buying them. Or I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I think he goes to Gamebred, and I know Gamebred has been like reaching out to a couple BKFC fighters. It kind of sucks because if you guys remember, Gamebred was like actually like running their fights on the BKFC app, and it was awesome. And then George got in trouble for that sucker punch. And then I don't know if George pulled his stuff off BKFC or if BKFC told George, hey, like, we're not interested in having you on anymore. But anyway, that kind of shot that down. And so now, I don't know. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Alan Belcher stays? Or do you think we ever see Alan Belcher again? I don't know that we ever see Alan Belcher in the BKFC again. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's little podcast. Like I said, I just felt like talking about all this stuff. I feel like Brian gets to talk about some awesome stuff, and I just wish that they BKFC would hook him up with a little bit better. Like I said, I feel like all the breaking news at the end that we just talked about, like he could have absolutely had that. Like Dave could have let him break that news, and I get it, but I mean, it was out there, so everybody knew about it. So again, that's one thing that I wish that they would hook him up more. But if you guys enjoyed it, cool, thanks. And I enjoy filming for you guys. And I'm one of those guys. I feel like you don't need to see my face when I'm doing a podcast like this. If we're doing an interview with somebody, absolutely we'll show the face. But you guys really don't need to see me talking over the top of this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks, and have a good night.